Hey, this is KB. I'm a technologist, thought leader, and self-published author. I've been publishing ebooks, print books, audio, video, and other content online since 2015. I stumbled quite a bit, tried many different types of content, marketing strategies, software tools, and social media streams. Now I'm here to help you learn from my mistakes and find inspiration along the way. We'll take a journey together to leverage your content, dive into practical tips, and test out actionable strategies that move you from posts to profit. This is the Self-Pub Empire Podcast. Hey, welcome back to the Self-Pub Empire Podcast. Today I want to talk about supercharging your KDP marketing with A-plus content. That's Kindle Direct allows you to put A-plus content onto your book page, your description page. So in this competitive world of self-publishing, standing out really is a key to success. With Amazon's A-plus content feature on Kindle Direct Publishing KDP, authors have this powerful tool at their disposal really to make books shine in that crowded marketplace. Imagine capturing your reader's attention from the first glance and driving more sales with compelling visuals and informative text. So there's some magic in A-plus content that you can get as well and drive real results to your book pages. So today's topic gets discussed in many circles on the interwebs as a tool really for Amazon Seller Central users. That's really where that started, and they added it for Kindle Direct publishers as well. In case you're not familiar with it, Seller Central on Amazon is for small and large companies that want to sell products on the Amazon marketplace. That's their interface to do that from behind the scenes to list products. I've done this myself actually in the past, and I can tell you it's not exactly easy unless you truly have a differentiated product to sell. So selling physical products can be very challenging on Amazon, but it is done quite a bit. So this is actually why I moved to making books and marketing books on my own in Amazon, due to really the product selling being so cutthroat, in my opinion. I'm not saying that self-publishing isn't cutthroat either, but then again, you're creating differentiated product that is unique to you. It is your book. It is from you as the author. Sourcing products, going back to the physical product sales, can be tricky and can be very difficult unless you have something that could be custom made, like formulated branded dog food, for example. Those kinds of things, pet products, seem to sell pretty well on Amazon in a differentiated kind of way because it's touting some kind of different piece versus something else and not just focusing on price. But again, for books, you have a differentiated product. You have a book, but you want to really showcase this information about your book and talk more about it, more than the description can allow you to do. So A-plus content allows a self-published author to showcase their book or books with enhanced images, detailed descriptions, and engaging elements that you can put together. According to Amazon's own research, products with A-plus content generally see an average increase in sales of about 12%. That's pretty good considering it's really just added descriptive information. You can leverage this feature as well, and if you leverage it effectively, you can create a nice digital storefront that entices readers and boosts conversions. And so adding this to the Kindle Direct publishing has been a really important step for my selling of my books. And I really think it's very, very powerful. So today we're going to go through 3 steps to get you started on A-plus content on your Kindle Direct publishing bookshelf and your Kindle Direct publishing books. Number 1, you want to try out that A-plus interface first. You got to dip your toes into it before you jump in full force. That is definitely a must. 2, you want to create a strategy for your A-plus content. You really want to think through what you're going to try to express and plan out how it's going to look. And there's limitations and tips and tricks that I'm going to go through about how to do the A-plus content creation. It isn't just an open canvas just to put whatever you want on. You have to be smart and planful and mindful about what you do. Otherwise, you're going to do what I did, which is flounder around with it for a while and have it rejected numerous times before you got it right. That's what I did. Don't do what I did. Plan it out based on what I'm talking about here for my tips. And third is then finally, once you have that plan and you have tried it out, you have that familiarity, start creating. You can just start getting going, get that in there and get it published and get it reviewed by Amazon. And I'm going to call that out right now because that's really important. Amazon reviews all that content and they have very strict guidelines. So you want to make sure you do it right. Otherwise, you're going to be faced with numerous rejections. Again, just like I did. Okay, so let's jump into it. Hey, I want to tell you about something. Change the topic. I don't know about you, but I like things for free. And I put together a free guide to getting started on Kindle Direct Publishing. This guide is many pages of packed material for free for you to get started and writing your own book and using Kindle Direct Publishing to do it. There's a lot of tips and tricks that I jammed into this document. It's a free ebook, and you can find it on the website, selfpubempire.com/free. All you gotta do is put your email address in there, and we'll get you that free book as soon as we possibly can through the magic of the interwebs. And so I hope you enjoyed the free book. Please give it a try. I think you'll find out, judge for yourself, that it's very useful information. I've been publishing books in Kindle Direct Publishing for many years now. And I think this will help you because I ran all kinds of pitfalls and maybe I can help you avoid a few and you can get your book out, your masterpiece out to the public, out to your fans, and have something there that will be out on Amazon for the ages. And remember, with Kindle Direct Publishing, it's all print on demand. So there's absolutely no inventory needed, and Amazon will basically sell it for you. So go ahead, get out there, selfpubempire.com/free, and check it out. It's the first entry there for the free getting started with Kindle Direct Publishing. I hope you enjoy it. Number one, try out the A+ content interface. Why? Remember, we really want to start with the end in mind. This will save you a lot of time. If you try it out first, you're going to get an idea of how it works in general, not necessarily the detailed content guidelines and reasons for rejections that come out of this thing, but certainly you're going to understand what parts you can do, the different things that you can function in the marketplace that they're talking about. This will save you a lot of time. You can create one A+ content project and apply multiple books to it, which is very, very powerful way to showcase your books in a series or as an author. But to be able to do that, you really want to play around with the interface first to see what you can do. It is possible to have A+ content differentiated for each and every book that you have. I don't know that that's always the best way to go, but I believe that you're going to want to play around with this first to find out. So to get in there, you're going to go to your KDP bookshelf and you're going to go to marketing and you're going to go to A+ content. There's a section right on there. You want to review the getting started guide. Do not skip this step. Do not skip that step. You're going to want to review content guidelines. Even more importantly, do not skip that step. I am going to talk about the guidelines to get you started, but you're going to want to read through that in detail, and I'll touch on that later. And even more interesting are the content examples. I think those are the best pieces of information in this whole content help page for Amazon is the content examples. You want to go there and you get some really great ideas. Then you want to choose your marketplace. There's the normal one, Amazon.com, of course. There's the UK. There's other countries. So you can display content in the other Amazons, naturally in the other countries or the base websites in the other countries. So you can do that as well. Obviously, I'm the US based, so I'm going to go with the .com, which is the largest one. Then you want to click on Manager A+ Content. So you'll get a screen, and this is the Content Manager. And this shows you the list of projects that you have. You won't have any, of course, to start with. There won't be anything there. There is a button to start creating. You're going to want to click that. and you want to create a content name first. It's just a text box in the left side. That's what's used to describe that A+ content. Here's a pitfall. For some reason, I didn't realize that that was the only differentiator that I'm going to see to me that will help me understand which one I'm working on. So you want to name it appropriately. No one else sees that name. That's strictly for you. Name it well, call it version 1, whatever it is, or book series version 1, something like that, so that you know that this may be your first attempt to actually do this. So maybe a book series 0.1 or something like that. And you just put that in that text box so you know what you're dealing with. After that, you can add a module within an editor, and it shows you that blank page, and then there's add a module button, and you get to choose from some modules. You'll also notice that there's an editor and a preview tabs. So the editor and the tab and the preview tab are going to be on the screen. It's important because preview really gives you the opportunity to take a look at how that's going to show up on the Amazon page. So you will know what it looks like before you actually even attempt to publish it. Really, really handy and very useful to have a little preview on there. I got to give Amazon a lot of credit for thinking through their editor. It seems a little basic in some ways, but generally speaking, it's powerful enough to get the job done and do what you need to do. The modules, going back to the idea of adding a module, I recommend clicking that just to see what they've got. There's a number of them, not an enormous amount, but a number of them. It includes a logo module, which you can only add once, by the way, to a page. You can add a comparison chart. I believe you can add more than one comparison chart. I'm going to comment on comparison charts right now. They are extremely powerful. I love comparison charts. I love having that on my page. I think from a product perspective, like if you're selling products, the comparison chart allows you to differentiate which of your products someone could buy. And you could have a good, better, best kind of comparison chart of your product. Likewise with books, you can have all kinds of information on that comparison chart, and it's extremely powerful and an extremely powerful tool. This lends one to believe that using a comparison chart and having a A+ content page that is used for multiple books would allow for better marketing, because you can compare your books directly. You can only compare your own books, but you can compare your books directly. Comparison charts are fantastic. Finally, there's also several image and image with text modules that you can use as well. Some variations on that, like small images or 4 images across the page, those kinds of things. So there's a number of those. I think those are good enough. Certainly, if you want to have an image and add text to it, you can do that yourself, honestly, by creating an image with text on it if you're creative. Likewise, you want to use Canva potentially as a free way to create images and combine text and make them look nice so that you've got images that you can use. As a side note, again, Canva is pretty handy, canva.com. One of those great free tools online that you could use to create your own kind of marketing materials. So play around with that a little bit. You get a firm idea of what it is that you're dealing with. And then you really want to step back and you want to stop. So step 2, you want to stop. You want to take a breath and you want to think. Number 2, create a strategy for A+ content. What is a strategy for A+ content? You ask. That is very simple. You have to think through what you want to showcase or what you want to accomplish with your A+ content. What's your goal? Do you want to compare the books in your series? That's a great goal. Do you want to showcase artwork that you didn't use in your books, or supplementary artwork for your books, or other components or information about your book? What do you want to showcase? You want to think through that. Look at the examples, get some ideas. Which books in your planning phase here? Which books do you actually want to include? Do you have more than one? Maybe you don't. That's quite all right. You can create a page, specifically content page for one book. Nothing wrong with that. Honestly, you can do a comparison chart for one book. What would you want to do on a comparison chart? You want to maybe show things on that chart of what's included in the book and what's not, or the formats that may be available. That's another thing to actually show. Is it in color? Is it in black and white? You can do that as well. I have multiple formats for books, so showcasing that it has multiple formats kind of is an added benefit to it. So even if it's just one book, which books do you want to include? Just one, many, different kinds. Timing, next thing. Timing can be important. Keep this in mind. In your planning phase, it may take time to create the information, the A+, but it also takes up to 8 business days for Amazon to review your content to ensure it conforms to guidelines, their guidelines specifically. And 8 days is not a guarantee. So if you have a time crunch of some kind, or you want to get this out there, you're going to have to make sure you're patient. Do some planning, realize that it's going to take at least 8 days or up to 8 days for that content to get reviewed and approved. And that's very important. What you're doing is when you actually create this, you're creating the draft and then you are sending it in for approval at Amazon. And they'll review it for content guidelines to make sure it doesn't miss any content guidelines. Next, I highly recommend planning that comparison table out. Well, it feels like I'm kind of a broken record here. The comparison table, right? If you have more than one book, for sure, you want to plan out the types of comparisons. So let's touch on that a little bit. I'm going to add a few items from what I said before. For novels, maybe it's the characters in each novel. How many pages? What are the formats? You have a print version. You have an audiobook version. You have an easy book version. I don't know if there's anything like that. Kindle, of course. And for technical books, we did format, size, color versus black and white, audio versus not. Some of the books align themselves well with audio. Others didn't align themselves well with audio at all. So a little planning here on the comparison chart and other content goes a long way. And of course, planning this out will just take some time, but certainly this will pay dividends. It's like anything else. To plan this out a little bit, you can make sure you get what you need put out there for what you want to achieve. So that's the second step. Create that strategy. Number 3, you've played around with it. You've come up with a strategy. You know what you want to do. It's time to actually do it. Jump back in. You want to actually get this going. And we have now reached the hard work portion of our self-publishing. Once again, self-publishing can be hard work. It is a matter of taking your vision for A+ content and making it a reality. If you know what modules you want included and you're thinking about your images, you can, like I said before, go to Canva, create some collateral, make some nice marketing images based on your books and what you want to convey, and get those ready to go. Here are some tips. You can dive right in, but definitely you want to take some tips along with you to get you where you need to go. First, there are many, many examples available online, and many self-published authors are now taking advantage of A+ content feature. There are definitely content items, however, that you cannot include. So be careful. There's no pricing or promotions or discounts to be shown. You cannot do that. They will reject it immediately. The comparison table now, as a side note, has been updated recently to include rating summaries and pricing. So it really shouldn't be an issue for folks wanting to show that's kind of information in a separate module or try to create an image with that information. There's no need. A comparison table will do that for you. So you don't have to worry about that part. No customer reviews, even in images. You cannot put that in there, even if they're legit. Amazon can't verify those, so you can't put them in, and they will reject it if you try. For sure. I was there. I did that. So don't do that. There's no time-related material that you can put in there either. So this is the latest, or this is something, or now for this Christmas season, or holiday references, those kinds of things. They really want this A+ content to be available in perpetuity. And so they really don't want any time-related kinds of information there. This one kind of surprised me as well, but it kind of goes along with the reviews. No quotes or endorsements unless these are coming from known publications or public figures. Maximum of 4 of those if that's the case. So if you have a publicly documented review or endorsements, you could put those in there, but it has to be from something that is well known. So again, they can verify it and then not reject it. So that's an interesting exception and very powerful if you happen to have those. So if you do mess up like I did, Amazon will give you a really nice rejection letter. And it actually is very helpful. They will give you information about what it is that you messed up and give you some help kind of in guidance of where you want to go. It's a little generic, but actually gives you a little good information. And so that's fine. I would try to avoid repeatedly trying to do something that is blatantly outside the guidelines, though. I have seen in the past where Amazon has worded things sternly that you would have your account disabled if you continue to do such and such a thing. So I would recommend avoiding that if you can help it. The images themselves. So here's another tip. The images themselves can be JPEG or PNG files. They have to be under 2 megabytes each. So that does limit your size, especially since the resolution has to be at least 72 dots per inch. So that kind of gives you an idea of how big that image can be, because at 72 dots per inch and 2 megabytes each or less, those end up creating a certain size range for any kind of image. So if you know anything about image and details around images and dots per inch and things like that, that gives you an idea of the sizing. But easy enough to check in pretty much any program that allows you to create images. You can figure that part out and get an understanding. It will tell you if you don't do it right. So if you don't, you'll find that out too. And it will say that's not a valid image. Also, no animated images. Can't do that either. They do not want that. They don't want anything like animated GIFs and so on and so forth. They do comment about staying away from images that you are reusing basically from your books. It's a little tricky. So, but you can still highlight fully artistic images, but maybe not the exact same ones in your book. Or if the book used a section of an image as part of the book and you want to showcase the whole piece of artwork, you can do that. You can put that on there. The idea really here is to showcase new and unique information about your book, additional information. Again, things you can't put just in the basic description alone. So that's an interesting guideline as well. So reusing images is not necessarily what you want to do. Highly recommend read through the list of general content restrictions very, very closely. Some are common sense, but others might trip you up. So with that, those are your steps to get going on A+ content marketing. Good luck. Give it a try. Hey, I want to switch topics for a quick second here, and I want you to listen to the sound of my voice and pay close attention to how it sounds, the tone, the pitch, those kinds of things as I'm speaking to you right now. So listen to my voice, see what you think, and there. Do you get it? Do you remember how that sounds? Okay, now listen to this. Okay, how about now? Listen again to the sound of my voice. Can you tell a difference? I kind of hope not, because I'm using something called Resound.fm. It is my absolute favorite helper tool for creating podcasts. And really for any kind of audio that I record, I use Resound.fm to make it better, make it smoother. And so the reason I had you listen to this, the first part and this second part separately, potentially second part, if you can tell where that break was. The first part, I was using my relatively fancy, not extremely expensive, but very nice microphone hooked up to my computer. And I made that audio with the microphone. The second part here, which I'm speaking to you with right now, I'm using my earbuds and my smartphone. It's absolutely amazing. I took the two pieces of audio, put them together, and ran them through Resound, especially the magic enhance button, and it smooths out the audio for me, making it almost seamless and not very different from the two different recording devices. Frankly, I love the freedom of recording podcasts using my earbuds, and Resound.fm makes it super, super easy. It's fantastic. It will also take care of all your oohs and ahs and other extra sounds that you don't want in your audio. And you can use it for audiobooks. Well, like I said, podcasts. You can optimize your audio for YouTube videos and really just about anything that a creator would want to use for audio to make that work better and make it sound better, make it sound much more professional. Made by professionals for a professional podcast itself, and using artificial intelligence to make it work really, really well is great. So check it out at selfpubempire.com/resound. That's selfpubempire.com/resound. Check out what I think about it there on that page and click the link and try it for yourself. See for yourself. Thanks so much. We'll switch topics again here. So to recap, you're going to want to use A+ content to boost your sales. You can cross-sell additional books and truly increase the professionalism of your books and make them look truly something other than self-published, mom and pop kind of thing. You should go in and definitely play around with the system a few times first. You do not have to submit any drafts that you come up with in the system. I did this numerous times just to see what a preview would look like. Conveniently, they allow you to preview both desktop and what it would look like on a mobile device. And you don't have to send those in for review and worry about those getting rejected if you think you're going to screw this up pretty heavily. I know I did. I did a lot of attempts at it, and I didn't submit any of those. And you can delete them as you go. After that, you really want to make sure you create your strategy on what you want to showcase. The planning phase is crucial. I really feel very strong about that. And then finally, once you get done planning and you have your content and understanding, jump in, get your content going. Once you do, then you can associate it with any of your books in your KDP bookshelf. You can only associate them with books in your own KDP bookshelf. This is kind of important. So you can't compare yourself to other books from other authors. You can't do that. Mine's better because I talk about this, or I had more dragons. You can't really do that. So you can only compare the books on your own KDP bookshelf. So make sure you stick to that and think about that appropriately. I didn't want to forget that. That does mean that the page isn't really different for each of the books. So it's the same page for each of the books in a series. Again, with a comparison chart, that's less important, and it will drive traffic to your other books, which I think is really great. Certainly, there are other ways to do it too: series, author pages, things like that. And there's advantages and disadvantages to doing it that way. Do what's right for you. I firmly encourage you to create that comparison chart for all your books, or even one of your books. It's a very powerful marketing tool. So that covers it. That's my A+ content guide on Kindle Direct Publishing. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast and that this gets you started on the road to that A+ content. It can be a real challenge, but it can be a very rewarding challenge, and it looks really great. And once you have something coming up on that page, it looks very professional, and hopefully it'll move you from post to profits. Keep creating, and we'll see you next time, my friend. Hey, congratulations. You just listened to another episode of the Self-Pub Empire podcast. I really hope you found something inspiring, useful, and actionable for your own entrepreneurial and business aspirations. Let's keep connecting as solopreneurs, authors, and online creators of all kinds. For more information, how-tos, great tools, and show notes for the show, head over to selfpubempire.com/podcast. Until next time, let's continue moving from posts to profit.